Good day, everybody, and happy Friday. Well, at least it might be. Stuart raising the volume on me. Happy Friday to those in Canada and those in the United States. As Stuart is being his childish self today, ladies and gentlemen, Stuart will expose his immaturity, arrogance as an American because you
Oof.
see, the United States tries to position itself. And you talk to the average person, you say to tourists, why do you, or you go to countries, why are Americans so loathed? And there's one word that comes up again and again and again, and it's called arrogance. And in this rant today, we're going to show you what American arrogance is all about. When if you don't do what we want, we'll build it on our own and we're going to screw you. Welcome back to the Rant Network. I am David Solomon for the second to last live episode of the Rant Network of 2024. He is the American Stuart Driscoll, if you didn't get it. I'm the Canadian David Solomon. This is an unedited, unfiltered, uncensored conversations. Today, we're going to go into a really critical conversation about Americanism versus
Ooh.
the rest of the worldism. Okay, this
Ooh.
is our platform to express our opinions. Today it's going to be how we feel about it. And while Stuart might say this is fact, eh, let's see what happens. Let's get into this modern, conversation today. This is really a real big story, Stuart, on this side of the border, because while we've ranted all week or last little bit about Justin Trudeau and how Justin continues to screw up Canada, there is a lot of heat. There's been fire to his feet for a while on his relationship with the United States. When Biden was in power, everything was cozy, yummy, goody gumdrops. And now with Trump in power, he's offensive, stupid. But you see, but Justin Trudeau said a long time ago that he doesn't have to care about fiscal policy and he doesn't have to care about the economy. He likes to write checks. And as a result, we saw on Monday, Chrystia Freeland, his finance minister, resigned. And now Romeo LeBlanc is going to take over. There's going to be a cabinet shuffle later today in Canada, and we're going to see who's going to survive this whole business. But Canadian premiers, similar to U.S. governors, are going to Justin going, yeah, that's nice about your stupid stuff, but we trade with the U.S. And we're not just talking maple syrup, people. We're talking about energy, wood, the automotive industry, technology, you name it. Canada is a net exporter to the United States. We're no longer the United States' most important partner. That's Mexico. We're number two. And guess what? We've fallen flat because of thanks to Justin Trudeau's crappy, stupid policies. But now, with what Donald Trump is threatening for 25% tariffs, what do Americans really think? If Canada doesn't give in to Donald Trump, Stuart, I would hazard to say, based on our conversation, that you say, you don't do what we want to do, we'll freeze you out. Stuart, so what's your version of what this really means and how America's just going to respond to everyone's, negotiations? You're on mute. You're on mute, my friend. The best way it's the way we love Stuart. We don't have to hear him. That's great. It's wonderful. Oh, goody. He is long gone. Look, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what one of the problems that Americans have right now is this whole idea that if Canada doesn't buckle in, they'll do it on their own. If Canada doesn't give in, then Canada, of course, you see what's going to happen is Canada's just going to say, yes, sir. What else can I do? The truth of the matter is, guys, that the United States needs Canada. United States needs is a net importer of not a net import partner, is an importer of many different goods, primary resources especially. And one of the things about primary resources such as wood, aluminum, you need it. You can't build a car without aluminum today, folks. You can't build a car today at all without this back and forth trade between Canada, US, and Canada and US and Mexico. It's just not happening anymore because it becomes too expensive. And so even when Doug Ford today went out and said, hey, not today, sorry, earlier this week, went out and said, you know what, if this is the way it's going to be, we're going to cut off energy to the United States. Guess what? The United States said it'll build its own nuclear power plants. Come on. What are you going to do in the next 6 years? Okay. Are you going to go on and say to everybody, oh, sure. Of course we're going to, of course we're going to just build a nuclear power plant. And as Stuart's problem continues and persists with his computer, and he will be in hopefully momentarily, Stuart's going to tell you about the fact that we'll just do whatever we want because we're America. America's great. And America doesn't need Canada. And it doesn't need other countries. And that's false. People, that's false. Because this is the idea of specialization. This was the whole idea about free trade. This was the whole idea of going towards that. And while these tariffs are a negotiation, and he's already gotten a good part of his negotiation. What he wanted to do was to enforce the border. What he wanted to do was to slow down fentanyl. What he wanted to do was to make sure that we do not get, caught up in all of this, this back and forth with crime and whatever. Yes, he's gotten already a piece of that. And he will continue to negotiate with both Justin Trudeau in Canada and President Sheinbaum of Mexico, because that's what he wants to do, and that's what he ran on his election campaign on. And starting January the 20th, he may and he may not put in those tariffs, and he may put them in and then withdraw them. But here's the insane thing, people, is that Joe Biden put in 17% tariffs. Yes, 17% tariffs on Canada during his presidency, and nobody blinked an eye. But there was no noise. There was no media. Guess what? The media forgot again. The media won't ever talk about something Joe Biden did badly or wasn't threatening or whatever. We know that already about the media in the United States. So as a result, you didn't know about it. In fact, a lot of people have no idea about it. Not just you. I heard about it from in Quebec, who went out and put out a great presentation earlier this week and said, look, this is what the Biden administration did. So what's incredible, Stuart, is while you come back and I've ranted about how dumb you are, now, the United States, so you're going to tell me right now, so if Doug Ford threatens in a negotiation just like Trump did, you're going to tell me that what are you going to do for the next 6 years while you're building these so-called nuclear power plants? Where are you going to get your energy from, buddy? Where do you think you're going to get stuff when you have to import from all over the world's primary resources? Mm-hmm.
Like he still can't hear me.
He still can't hear you, right? He's so good.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of money.
You hear me? All right.
Yeah.
I want you just to take a moment, and I want you to understand the methodology, since you're being such a simpleton, on how Donald Trump seems to run politics. He seems to go out there and sees a problem. The world is when was the last nuclear power plant built in the United States? And the reason why they haven't been built in the United States is because there's lots of objections to building what they perceived as unsafe when it came to two nuclear disasters in the world. And the left green side of the United States has been pushing for them not to build one. Well, what Doug did, the little Dougie Ford, which I think used to be is it Cokehead Ford? I think it was Cokehead.
His brother. That was his brother.
His brother. Okay. When the Ford family is just a wonderful, illustrious Canadian representation of class. But when Doug Ford decided to say, I'm tough, I'm going to threaten to cut off energy to the United States, let me tell you something. It's exactly what I believe the Republican Party wanted him to do. And I believe that this was a 100% layup to Michael Jordan to dunk the ball. It takes on average 6 to 8 years to build a complex nuclear power plant. These statistics are old. I believe they can build them even much faster today with newer technology, especially with the onset of robotics. But let's understand that if we build a nuclear power plant, Canada's abundance of energy, of hydroelectric power, sort of becomes a little bit moot. You're right. Canada's now moved to number 2 in the position to the United States, where Mexico has surpassed it by a lot. But in many ways, what the American government's trying to achieve is, this government wants a border. If I tried to get into Canada illegally, they would arrest me and put me in jail. Well, the United States doesn't have that luxury.
Actually, not really, but okay, go on.
Okay, really? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
The Canadian border is not the wide open border, David. Anyways.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I've crossed the U.S. border by car many more times than you, maybe in some cases.
Okay. Once again, arrogance from you Americans. Keep going. Let's go. Keep going. You know everything. Go on, please.
So if Canada failed to have any more energy exports, which represents what percentage of the GDP of the Canadian economy, David? Energy is its single largest exporter commodity. The only thing that oil.
Well, it includes the energy. Absolutely. 100%.
Energy is the largest component of Canadians' exports.
Absolutely.
If Canada lost that export opportunity of its hydroelectric, which it cannot pipe to any other neighbor, there's no way to get that energy out of North America, and you can't get to Mexico without going through Canada, the United States. So what would Canada do with that abundance of hydroelectric power? You can't put it in a water bottle and send it away. So again, with all due respect, David, I'm trying to give an example as to what may have been the motivation.
You know, for a smart guy, you failed to understand one thing, right? You failed to understand one thing, because I like what you said. You have to get me to understand, because we're all dumb as shit. You're the intelligent ones, the Americans, but you guys are all fucking arrogant in this sense. We don't need anybody. We're self-sufficient. We heard drill, baby, drill. Okay, good. Drill, baby, drill. At the end of the day, people, this is what we call specialization. This was the whole idea about free trade. This was the whole idea. And this is what I was saying while you were out, is that you want to create the best in your country. Japan, by the way, is powered a lot with nuclear power. There are pros and cons to that whole thing. And I don't believe that even if you get started today, it's happening. And if you do get started, you're not running these power plants across northern United States. Canada will continue to supply electric power across the northern states, because that is just reality. You have infrastructure, you have a lot of things. It's not that simple to just throw in a nuclear power plant. So let's put it this way. The other part of it all, the other part is this.
But you're missing the point.
Of course I'm missing the point, because I'm a dumb fucking Canadian. I'll go drink my maple syrup. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Whoa. Don't fuck with my maple syrup.
Whoa. Please. Because next thing you're going to tell me, you're going to tell me you don't need our maple syrup because you guys don't need it. You're self-sufficient. What else do you want to do, Stuart?
The maple syrup mafia actually kind of lost, and actually glad you mentioned it. Let me finish my point.
Here we go. Here's where America comes first.
The nuclear issue is they need to pass through Congress and Senate and signed and executed by the President of the United States to get permission to build another nuclear power plant. And with Canada being baited, and I believe they were baited into saying, well, we won't give you energy. Listen, they're going to continue to pay that energy vig for the next 6 to 8 years. But once this power plant gets approved and gets built, I think the tables are good.
This is American. Oh, goodness, his computer froze. Good, so you can shut up. The Americans are. I'm sorry. That's really just once again. It's not going to happen, and I'll tell you exactly. It's like the Keystone Pipeline. You're going to approve it. You're going to try to build it, and then in 4 years from now, it's going to be shut down, or in 2 years, it's going to be shut down by a change of Congress. This is the way the Americans work. Look, Stuart, you know what? If you think that this is the smartest investment today in the United States,
I do.
Where you know what? Let me give you a different perspective of where your money should be spent. And again, instead of pissing off Canada and Mexico, it's time to think of, if you want to make America great again, take a look at the disaster that is called American infrastructure, whether it's internet. Like your guys, you have areas in the United States that have no internet, zero. You have places in the United States where your roads and your bridges are falling apart, and it's a disaster, and money's not being sunk in there. You have migration to California, Arizona, Florida, Texas, that dire need of infrastructure improvement. And the states are investing it slowly, but it's not about let's instead of being smart and thinking internally how we can improve the United States without pissing everybody off at the same time, let's go ahead and just piss off Canada and Mexico and everybody else because we're so smart. Stuart, the money, you have so much.
You're in Montreal, Quebec. You were in the most disastrous road zone in the fucking planet.
Yeah. When was the last time you were in New York City?
You got the potholes the size of Honda. Whoa! I let you go.
I love it. It's the best. It's one of the best lines I heard. It's one of the best lines. You suck more than we do, so don't tell me. Okay, you suck too, and you're telling how we should be because you're America. America. You're sick. That's why the world's sick of you. The world is sick of you because you just think that we don't need you. That's the problem. Canada has hydroelectric power. It's cheap. It's clean. It's cheaper than a nuclear power plant right now to go and build. And yet you want to spend God knows how much money across northern U.S. It's not two power plants. You got to build it across there, which is going to cost how many trillions of dollars?
It's an east and a west. I actually saw
and so you're telling me an east and west. So you put one in. So you're going to put one in New York and put one in California, right? Sure. And you're going to say we're going to power up all of the. Come on. You know what, Stuart? It's once again. It's delusional to believe that this is.
You're forgetting the point.
I'm always forgetting.
Yes, because you don't seem to grasp the concept.
Oh, I'm the one. Oh, here we go. I don't grasp. Stuart, instead of insulting everybody, which is good, Americans are good at, why don't you just stop and just listen that there may be Americans need to stop thinking that they have the solutions to everything. That's just normal. This is why even with Biden, no matter whether it's a Democrat or Republican in power, you guys are all arrogant. So, Stuart, I'll tell you what. Since I went off on my own for 5 minutes while your shitty American computer had to reboot, why don't you tell why you guys are so fucking? Tell us so I can wrap up the Friday edition, please.
David, I have a funny tool in my toolbox where I just throw the mic down, but I gotta say something now. Besides the fact that your heritage truly comes out in your stubbornness. Listen.
There was a backhanded statement. Okay, Stuart, please offend me more because Americans are too smart. Wrap it up, Stuart. Just wrap it up because I think our listeners and our viewers are running away. Go ahead.
Listen, David. There's a shawarma stand at the next corner that thinks it's better than the next shawarma stand. All right, David. Now I have your quiet and uninterrupted attention. Because if it isn't, I'm just going to mute you completely now. So I get 5 minutes. The reason the infrastructure in the United States, correct, is ailing. And it is ailing in Canada as well. Roads have been crumbling in Canada, the United States. Roads have been crumbling in North America for decades. The Canadian government and American government have failed to maintain some of the best roads in the world.
Absolutely wrong. Go through the 401 in Ontario. Go for the 416 in Ontario. Go through the 417. Go through the 407. You're wrong again. But that's okay, Stuart. But I'm asking you, rather than talking about Canada, don't talk about Canada. Talk about the West. Stop telling us what to do.
Canadians seem to think that everything's focused around Ontario, Canada. But did David say he lives in Montreal, Quebec? Dude, you're out of line.
Once again, you're telling me you're acting like a You're acting like a Democrat. Don't blame me. Look at how shit you are. You didn't answer the question, and that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to wrap it up because Stuart just can't seem to make the argument today because he wants to make America great.
Because David won't let anyone talk.
Oh, I asked you again. Tell me about the United States.
According to the auditor, half of Quebec roads are in poor condition.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, since Stuart cannot answer a simple question, we're wrapping it up today because Stuart just can't answer the question, why about the United States? He's got to talk about Quebec.
Yeah, I just dropped in the Auditor General report.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for the Friday episode of the Rant Network. Stuart will try it again on Monday to get his word salad mixed up. I'm going to be calling him Stuart Camelas Brisgel. Anyways, on that note, we hope you enjoyed your conversation and had some valuable insights. And we'll see